Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Public Speaking in Business. I know it's been a while since we've last chatted, but today we have a great, amazing guest. I'm sure you're going to get some great insight from her. Her name is Lynita Mitchell-Blackwell, and I'm just very excited to have her on here. As you already know, public speaking in business is something that I like to share with individuals everywhere because public speaking is crucial in what we do day to day for our businesses and for our personal lives. So I love being able to show different aspects of how public speaking has helped individuals flourish in their businesses and beyond. So I don't want to hold back any further. Lanita, welcome. Please introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sam. It's my pleasure to be here today. And first, I have to say, public speaking and business is actually a passion of mine. I know a lot of people focus a lot on social media, but I got to tell you the truth. To the best of my knowledge, no one has made a purchasing decision just on seeing me on social, but they have made a purchasing decision just on hearing me speak from a stage. And so to see you embracing this topic, providing this amazing platform so that people can be not just educated, but hear from those of us who have become successful using this method, it makes me so excited. I cannot tell you. Yes. So I am an attorney. I am also a CPA and an intuitive business leader. And I have been very blessed to be able to bundle all of those things to serve my clients. My major focus are business owners, entrepreneurs. And, a lot of times when we're in business for ourselves, it's no separation between the business professionally and who we are personally. It's all wrapped up together, and it becomes imperative for us to focus on our brand. And when I got into this business, I did not know any of the things that I just said. I was an attorney, residential real estate, and business law, and just working. And I love people. I enjoy people. And from time to time, people would invite me, Dr. Sam, to come and speak to their groups, normally young people. And I did that because that was something that I was raised to do as a community servant leader, right? And then I had a series of very traumatic and impressionable things happen. I was diagnosed with endometriosis, specifically stage 4. I was a workaholic, and instead of getting the help that I needed so that I could heal, I kept driving and then trying to manage my health on the side. And anybody who's been ill for a day in their lives know that you can't get health first and then everything else. Well, one day from exhaustion, and she was only 6 at the time, and she put her pillow under my head from her bed and her Disney princess's blanket on my body. And she kissed me on the forehead and she said, "Good night, mama." And the only thing that I had strength to do was to say, "Good night, baby." I could not even put my own child to bed. And in the midst of all of this, I was like, but I have so much to say, so much to give. And here I am. I'm I am knocking on the doorsteps or on the door, excuse me, at the steps of the pearly gates because I was not stopping to find out why I was bleeding through my clothes, why I was feeling terrible, nauseous one moment, dizzy the next, and all the rest of it. And I birthed my first book, and people read it, they loved it, they invited me to come speak. And so, even in the midst of all of those things that were going wrong, God was able to take my mess and turn it into a message. And the test that I went through, truly a testimony. I would not invite anybody to go through all of that, Dr. Sam. But
No.
that is part of my story. That is part of how I relate to my audiences to
Hmm.
let people know, yes, I'm aware of how hard we have to work, how sometimes when everybody else goes home at night, we still have 5, 6, 7 hours of work that still needs to be done. That sometimes when we run payroll, that is for them, not for us, that we have to wait. But in all of that, we are still human and we still have the shared experience of our humaneness.
Hmm.
And when you can connect with your audience that way, they are no longer seeing you as some business or service provider. They're seeing a person they can connect with, and that is who they're purchasing from.
Wow, that was an amazing testimony that you just shared, go experiencing so much and
Yeah,
wearing so many hats
yeah,
and, not looking like what you've been through, that you've been able to keep pushing and now that you know better, you can do better. And now you can share it with the world. So that is amazing. Thank you for your transparency.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Wow. So I'm going to get right into the first question. Why do you believe public speaking is a crucial skill for business professionals today?
Yeah, so I think the first reason is because who are you going to trust? When we go out and we talk about our business with passion, and
Mhm.
you don't have to be perfect. You're going to stumble on over words, you're going to stutter, sometimes you're going to misquote facts. But when people feel the genuineness,
Mhm.
when they know that not only are you passionate about what you do, but you're knowledgeable, that you are a forever student, they are comfortable purchasing from you.
Right.
And there is, in my opinion, no better place and way to demonstrate that other than through going out and speaking professionally about what you do and
Mhm.
how you apply that to people's businesses and their lives to make them better.
Absolutely. And I love what you said, even earlier, how people want to buy from another person, not just from a business. And they want to know that you're real, that
Yeah.
you're human, that you're not perfect, but that you believe in what you're selling them, of course, or what you're providing. And that, hey, you're human just like they are, and they can relate to you. So, absolutely. So, can you share a personal experience where effective public speaking impacted your career or business?
Yes, as a matter of fact, and I have two examples I like to give. One what makes me look really good, and the other one not so well. But I want to share both if that's okay, so people know that you can rebound, you can recover from anything, and there are blessings even in the places where we would rather hide.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first, like, amazing, right? So I'm on the stage and I'm sharing my business, what I do, estate planning, why it's important. No, you cannot, or you should not. Let me say, not can't. We can do anything we want to do, but we shouldn't do some things. Hire an attorney who's out of state, has no experience with what goes on in your jurisdiction, and all the rest of it. And I was just there to speak because that's what God told me to do, share my experiences. I left with clients. I left with clients.
Good.
And I wasn't even the keynote. I was a panelist and there
Mhm.
were five other people. And if you had the time, how many times I spoke, I was the least. And the amount of time I spoke, the second least.
Mhm.
But what I was saying was really resonating with people because they came there with questions that I was able to answer.
Mm.
So when you are that good with your business, with what you do, the services that you provide, that you are willing to give it to people, please do not hoard that. Don't be afraid. Well, they're going to take what I know and do it themselves or hire somebody else. Number one, no, they're not. The people who are your customers, your sole customers, they want to hire somebody else because they understand the time that they are taking trying to become an expert about in the thing that you already are an expert in. They could be out making money in the business that they
Right.
have already established. So that's number one. Number two, anybody who would steal your expertise and quote do it themselves or hire somebody else, they were never your client to begin with. Never, ever, ever. The people who are on my client roster, who I serve, who come back to me, refer people, who come on my retreats, those people have been with me for years.
Good.
They love me, they trust me because they know I love them and that I'm always looking out for their best interest, even when sometimes I am not the person who's going to provide the best level of service in the thing they specifically need. But I'm going to guide the ship and make sure they're taken care of the whole way. So that's the first example of how it really made a big impact on my business. Okay, the second one. At that time, largest stage I'd been on, very public, it was streaming, fell flat on my face.
Oh no.
Yeah. Um, it was 45 minutes of the most painful keynote I'd ever done.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. But Dr. Sam, I will tell you, I learned so much from that. Number one, I learned to be flexible.
Mhm.
I had prepared, I had practiced, I was pretty. Do you understand me? I was ready, Dr. Sam, but I wasn't prepared for the audience that was sitting there.
Ooh.
It was young people
Mm.
in their early 20s. My presentation was for people who were probably in their 35 and up realm, who were
Mhm.
established in their careers. So my message didn't land. But I was early in my career and I was like, this is what I prepared and this is what I'm sticking to. No, but understanding that required me to grow in my faith and to trust that whatever was about to come, that it was seated in my knowledge and to let God do the rest. And it's okay to take what you prepared and put it to the side because that is not going to apply here. So that's the first thing I learned. The second thing that I learned is that just because you get 45 minutes doesn't mean that you got to take the whole thing,
Right.
right? That's right. Even if I had stopped at 25 minutes to 30 minutes and they had a gap in that area, it would have been better to spend more time on Q&A so
Mhm.
that I could have gotten to what they were there for. Even
Right.
if I had only spoken for 15 minutes. The payment was for a keynote, but keynotes deliver transformational change.
Mhm.
And that happens when you answer the questions and the deep desires of the people sitting in that audience.
Right.
But if you don't know what they are, then you cannot do that.
Right.
Yeah. And then the third thing I learned was you still got to follow up. So even if you feel like, oh my gosh, that was terrible, somebody in that room found value in what you said, you still have to give your contact information. I was so embarrassed, Dr. Sam. I didn't do that because I was just like, I want to just go and hide somewhere. Well, let me tell you, a few years later, when I had come to all the things that I just shared with you as to why this is important and why this is good, I did a Google search on me, and one of the young people who was in that room, she done a write up on the entire conference, and she dedicated at least 3 paragraphs, and she was just recounting what I said and how it really helped her. And I was just like, were we in the same room? I was asking that question. But no matter how bad you think it landed, somebody in that room got value. And if
Mhm.
I had put my contact information out there, she and I could have been connected. I did find her information. I sent her a very nice message on LinkedIn, just thanking her and how much it blessed me. And we're connections on LinkedIn, but how much deeper could that relationship have been if I had reached out immediately, like
Right.
I know to do?
Right.
So
Wow.
those are my examples.
Wow, you gave some very good examples, and I like to just kind of touch on a few of what you said, that it's important to know your audience. And that's
Yes.
kind of like preliminary work that we have to do as speakers is before I go into an environment, try to know who I'm going to speak to so that I won't talk over their head or I won't talk under their head, you know? So that's
Mhm.
very important. And then I like how you said that the time, frame does not mean you have to talk the entire time. So
That's
people
right.
feel like I got to stand up there and use every second. But yeah, it could be some more value in doing question and answer or just giving more of, hey, let me hit it and quit it, give you that good 5 or 10 minutes of strong information, and then step back instead of
That's
just trying to prolong it for the sake of time. And then I like how you said make sure you always give your information, regardless of how you think the talk went. make sure you have a way for people to contact you. And I like to say, almost make it an exchange. Find a way where you can give your information, but make sure you're getting their information as well. That way you can stay in contact. So those were just awesome nuggets. And thank you for sharing both the good and the not so good, because we can learn from both situations. A lot of times we think, oh, I can only share or gain from positive experiences, but sometimes those not so positive experiences give insight and give room for growth as well.
That's
So
right.
thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And thank you. And the next question is, what are some common public speaking challenges that business professionals face, and how can they overcome them?
Yeah, so I would say one of the first things is that there's a general fear or nervousness that the people that you're standing in front of don't want you there. I
Mhm.
promise you, they absolutely do. Number one, they wouldn't have invited you, or even
Right.
if you reached out and asked, they wouldn't have said yes. People don't have time to waste. They're not going to invite you into their atmosphere, their circle of influence on their stage just to be nice. They have invited you because you have something that they find of value and they really want to hear what you have to say and how you can make their lives better, which relates to number two. Sometimes we think that what we have is not valuable enough. I'm telling you, you probably are not charging enough for it, and the people in that room are ready to buy. They would not be in that room if they were not. And that leads to number three. Sometimes we are afraid to put the right price tag on what we have because we look around the room and we make a judgment and say, but they may not be able to afford it. I'm going to tell you something that is very common and colloquial, but it applies here to business. When I was in high school, I had an older cousin. He's gone on now, but he was wise. One of my spiritual mothers would have said that he was like the ghetto guru, have all these like great ideas, but he was of the streets, right? But he said, "Cuz don't ever let anybody tell you what they don't have money for." This was during the time where Freaknik was in Atlanta, this big party. Okay, he said, "I have seen people who were as broke as a joke scrape up $200 to go to Freaknik." Now, $200 may not sound like a lot of money in 2025, but I want you to remember back to the late 80s, early 90s, where
Mhm.
$200 could have covered probably everything except your rent as far as your expenses.
Mhm.
Because remember, gas was 89 cents a gallon.
Mhm.
Okay? So if he's saying that back, and he said that to me back in 94, and we're talking about today's dollars, stop pretending like the people who you're talking to, because you're not talking to everybody in that room, to the people who you're talking to, your soulmate clients, are not going to find the money to pay you what you need to be paid so that they can address their pain point.
That's right. I
So
love it.
those, yeah, so those are the big things. You already know how to talk about your business. You do it every day. So just get on up there, take 3 steps. Now you're on the stage and say the same things you would say as if it was just you one on one with somebody.
Right. Well, I love that. And I love that you said that a lot of times people struggle with pricing. And it's the truth. They don't want to um, act like they're overcharging, or they try to judge people's pockets, but you don't know what people have money for, or people will find a way to get money for what they want. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you.
And so we have to stop selling ourselves short, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be a business that's not thriving. You
That's
have to make sure you're able to survive as well, and you're not necessarily paying for how long it took you to do whatever it was. You're paying for the education, the time you spent getting that knowledge. So it's not about, oh, but you only spoke for 20 minutes. Yeah, but how many years did it take for her to get that knowledge to speak for those 20 minutes? So we
yeah,
have to stop discounting ourselves and the education and the time and the effort that we put in the skills to become the professionals we are today.
that's right. That's exactly right.
Right. And so my last question is, what is one essential tip that you would give to someone looking to improve their public speaking skills?
Oh, the biggest thing is Stop trying to do this by yourself and hire someone to help you. You need a speaker coach. I have two. I have one person who helps me hone my message,
Mhm.
because as you become more knowledgeable and experienced in what you do, and sometimes you're going to shift industries or merge them like I did, your message needs to be revamped based on that, right? And
Mhm.
then I have another coach who finds me the appropriate stages so that I can be in front of the audiences who are looking for me.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow. And so I love that you shared that it's okay to get a coach or get a professional to come alongside you to help you. It's almost like someone saying, "Can you change the oil in your car?" Sure, I could change the oil in my car, but why would I take the time to do that when I could have somebody else who's skilled at doing it so that they can change the oil quicker and better than I can? So
that's
yeah,
right.
you could probably do your job or your business by yourself, but why reinvent the wheel when you could just drive the car? Let's not make things harder than they have to be. Let's not uh, take longer to get somewhere where we can get there quicker if we had the proper help. And like you said yourself, you have two coaches. And so there's no wrong or nothing wrong with investing in yourself. How can you expect your business to take off or for people to take you serious if you're not willing to invest in yourself? You want them to invest in you, then you have to be willing to invest in yourself. So that was awesome. So thank you so much for being here today, Lynita. I would like for you to tell us how we can stay in contact with you and let us know what you may have going on or coming up in the fall of 2025 or even the spring of 2026.
Absolutely. So the best way to contact me is through my website. It's my name, LynitaMitchell-Blackwell.com, no dash. And you can join my email list. We can follow each other on social. For the most part, I follow back.
Mhm.
And of course, you can come visit me if I'm in a city near you. As far as upcoming events, I have my Greater Than retreat coming up in January. It is sold out, but I still like to mention it because there will be another coming up in the spring, and it's Rest, Reconnect, Recharge for the digital girlies. And so I really enjoy investing my time into professional people. um, I meet a lot of people through my firm. Like I mentioned, I do estate planning, so that's wills, advanced directives, etc., as well as real estate. And they all have the same thing in common. They do not take time for self care,
Mhm.
and part of self care is resting. And
Yes.
so, yes, so that is my passion. So I would love to connect with you. So just check me out. Website is the best way.
Wow, well, that is awesome. So I hope you all got some great tips from Miss Lynita Mitchell-Blackwell that definitely is no wrong in resting. You have to rest and to also be willing to invest in yourself. Of course, the Model Speakers Academy is always looking for great clients who may need some help with public speaking or a little confidence boost in sharing your story because I believe we all have a story to share about our life experiences on how we got where we are to today. So thank you again for being such great listeners. And again, follow Miss Lynita Mitchell Backwell and stay tuned into what she has going on. And always stay in contact for the next public speaking and business talk that will be coming on a screen near you soon. Have a good evening, everyone.